We have some interesting news. Russia announced the evacuation from Skadovsk. Firstly, obviously, their administration, and later on, the local citizens. Skadovsk is located on the very south part of the Kherson region. It's not a big city, but anyways. So even with that, Russia cannot use their military ships to secure this area. In general, speaking about the Russian evacuation, they announced to evacuate this area near to Orikhiv together with Melitopol and this area as well. Mostly they evacuate the people to Crimea over here or to Berdansk, which is further away from the front lines. And about the counteroffensive, we have the panicking messages from the Russian army. They say that Ukraine has prepared the army for the counteroffensive action. So they say that the Ukrainian army is located in Zaporizhia region and also in Kherson region. There are many Ukrainian battalions, they say, which are ready for attack at any moment. And Ukrainian forces keep enough distance from the front lines just not to be under the attack of the Russian tactical airplanes. Here we speak about mostly Sukhoi Su-25 attack airplane or versatile fighter jet bomber Sukhoi Su-34. Russians expect that the main attack directions will be in Zaporizhia Oblast near to Orikhiv towards to Melitopol, and also from Kherson region with crossing the Dnieper River. Probably that is why Russia started to move their occupation administration from Skadovsk out there. For the operation in Kherson region, Ukraine will use the special forces, the marine forces, to cross the Dnieper River with the using of the boats and other equipment. Based on the data they have, they expect that Ukrainian counterattack will start in a few days. And we have lots of the vehicles, the plate numbers, you may also check it out. So for sure, this is the Ukrainian train. And I think this video was filmed for purpose. And you can see lots of the engineering equipment out there, the mining plugs or something. And some of the okay, those are the Leopard tanks. I'm almost sure about it. Well, could be Challenger, but I think those are Leopard 2 for sure. You can see they're masked. And this is the American track for sure. So yes, it is the Ukrainian train. Lots of the other tracks, lots of the other tanks, and many of the other equipment, even a Ukrainian flag on one of the tanks. And I think that this video was filmed for purpose to show to the Russian side, be aware, we are ready for the counterattack, and this increases the panic for the Russian side. Obviously, this train is really long. Right now, Russia launched the Iskander rockets on Ukrainian territory. Probably they're trying to cut the logistics of the Ukrainian side far behind the front lines, but I'm in a great doubt that they will be successful with Iskander rockets. First of all, there are not many rockets left, and they are in lack of the precision, unlike the HIMARS rockets, but recently Russia started to block the GPS signals very close to the front lines and also behind the front lines, so for HIMARS it's also getting hard to aim the target, unfortunately. But Russia also needs the GPS signal, otherwise they cannot fire the drones, so it's not forever. They block for some time, but later on unblock, and we need to find the proper time to launch the HIMARS rockets towards the Russian side. Right now we have the confirmation that definitely Russia sent the T-55 and T-54 tanks to the front lines. Those were made when the Stalin was alive, and this picture comes from the Hungary, Budapest, that the Soviet Union entered the city with their tanks. And those are the new photos showing the T-54 tank somewhere in Zaporizhia region. This tank may only be effective if Russia will just dig it down into the ground, and it's gonna be like a turret. But if they're gonna use them as tanks, the tanks are made for the offensive actions, for penetration of the defense lines, fighting against the enemy armored vehicles. So in that case, T-55 and T-54 tanks would be just demolished. Russia moves out all of the supplies from the evacuation areas they previously announced, and there is no more fuel for the vehicles in those evacuation areas that are still controlled by the Russian army. Transnistria wants more Russian peacekeepers in their, let's say, country. Let me show you it. So this is the Ukraine, this is Moldova, and this is Transnistria. Transnistria. So in what way they want more people in their army? Because Moldova denied the access for the Russian military men, and obviously Ukraine will not open its borders for the Russian peacekeepers. So this is the landlocked state, if you may call it, so-called state. Let's say it like that. So there is no any way how they may get more peacekeepers, maybe just from their local citizens, who knows? And they're not peacekeepers, they are soldiers that may fight for Putin's regime. One of the Ukrainian soldiers in the social media say that there was the counterattack of Ukrainian forces, successful one, and we took 1 kilometer of the land. The Russian side says that it was fake because he spoke about the fight against the Wagner forces, but this soldier haven't said that they were fighting in the Bakhmut city. Probably it was near to Avdiivka or something, because the Wagner forces also were spread on that region and maybe not all of them returned back to Bakhmut. As for the military map for today, I haven't seen the difference in Avdiivka compared to yesterday, so no any movement. But in Bakhmut, unfortunately, there is some movement, and Wagner's reported that they've took 100 with something meters, but I guess even less over here, and even less over here. Tiny little steps, but they are taking the ground. Wagners now are forced to fight with everything they have. I am sure that they're still in lack of the artillery shells, and the idea of the regular Russian army is to eliminate the Wagner army. But honestly, I'm okay with that scenario. The best scenario, however, would be the fight between the regular Russian army and the Wagner soldiers. At this stage, unfortunately, it's not real. Also great news, we have 8 helicopters provided by Croatia to Ukraine. They promised 14, so expect 6 more. This photo was taken 3 days ago, so those helicopters are already in Ukrainian Air Force.